Good. Enjoying this Saturday here at the Whole Life Expo? Awesome. Well, I'm super excited for you guys to have this next lecture because our presenter is Luke Michael Howard, aka the Hypnopunk from LUKEnosisHypnosis. Try to say that 10 times. Luke has actually been recently voted the #1 hypnotist by the Toronto Star Reader's Choice in 2019, so that's amazing. Congratulations. He's actually here today to help you stop smoking with some tips and tools that you can take home with you. So please give a big round of applause for LUKEnosisHypnosis.
Thank you so much. And as I walk up this stage here, I see that there's a chair in front of me, and it's a bit like life. We set a goal in life, and our goal's over here somewhere. And as soon as you set a goal, maybe it's to become a non-smoker or to quit drinking alcohol, whatever the thing is, you set a goal, make $1 million. You start to move towards that goal, and something gets in the way, an obstacle. And sometimes we get disheartened, we're like, oh my God, I set this goal, and there's an obstacle already, I'm gonna quit it. And we shirk off back to where we were. The reason that you have an obstacle is great, it means you set a goal. If you didn't set a goal, there'd be no obstacle, and you wouldn't be challenged, and you'd go nowhere in life. So be thankful for chairs that are in front of you. Be thankful for obstacles, because it means you're going forward. I want to start off with something really interesting. This is not hypnosis. Don't worry, you don't need to be scared. If you feel so inclined, I want to show you a little bit of magic, if I may. So guys, what I want you to do, put your hands up like so. Turn your thumbs down. That's right. And then what I want you to do is I want you to cross your left hand over your right hand like so. So both your thumbs are facing down. Keep looking at me. So both your thumbs are facing down. Make sure they're interlocked, and on 3, copy me. 1, 2, 3, thumbs facing up. Oh, what happened? There you go. Very, very good, you can relax. Just a little bit of magic to start things off. All hypnosis is, and we're going to talk about hypnosis for smoking today and how it can help you and stuff like that, but I want to give you at least 3 tangible tools that you can leave here today, that if you use these tools the right way, they can help you zero in, dial down your nicotine addiction, and we'll talk about addictions later on, give you more control of that and give you more freedom in your life. And if you don't smoke and you're here, you can also use these 3 tools for something else today. Would that be okay with you? Sign the hands if that's okay. Very, very good. Who here smokes? Hands up for me so I know. Who here doesn't smoke? All right, you guys, I'm going to give you some stuff as well that you can use in your life. But what I want to do to begin with is, all hypnosis is suggestion. And what's a suggestion? Everyone is suggestible. We all learned to tie our shoelaces, I hope that we did at some point. At some point that was a suggestion. We didn't know how to tie our shoelaces. At some point we learned to drive a car. We drive a car. At some point that was a suggestion. Someone suggested it to us and we didn't do it. Or another thing is, maybe we were on a pedal bike. There was a time that we didn't know how to ride a bike, but someone gave us a suggestion one day. We got on a bike and eventually we learned how to do it. It was just a suggestion, and that's all hypnosis is, and that's all your smoking addiction is, and we unpack it a little bit later on. But what I'd like you to do now, guys, is follow me if you would. Get your hand and make the universal OK symbol. So get your thumb and your index fingers together like so, with your 3 fingers up in the air. Lovely. And all I want you to do now is make a pistol, make a gun. So you're pointing out, like you're shooting someone, bang, bang, bang. And then make the OK sign again, and make the pistol sign again. Make the OK sign, the pistol sign. OK, pistol. And what I want you to do now, on the count of 3, follow my words, not my actions. On the count of 3, I want you to put this circle on your chin. 1, 2, 3, put it on your chin, 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 put it on your chin. So these 2 guys, that's not your chin, that's your cheek. There you go. Some people get it, some people don't. Very good. Relax it down. But it's a suggestion. Generally, it falls about 50% of the audience. 50% will put it where I put it, which is my cheek. About 50%, usually less, will put it on their chin. So if you put it on your chin, give yourself a round of applause. That's a form of misdirection. That's a form of suggestion. I'm telling you, I asked you to follow what I said, not what I do. About 50% of you followed what I did visually, didn't listen to my words, which is an interesting thing when it comes to hypnosis and trance. Question: who here believes that nicotine is physiologically addictive? Wait, before you vote, what I mean by that is not mentally addictive, not emotionally addictive. I'm not discounting it's a bitch to kick if you don't have the right skill. I'm merely asking who believes it's physiologically addictive in the same way heroin is addictive for a heroin addict, in the same way that alcohol is addictive for an alcoholic. Who here believes it's physiologically addictive? Hands up. So probably about 20, 30, 40% of the audience, we'll say about 30%. Here's the interesting thing. It's not physiologically addictive. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. The very definition of an addiction is you need to keep doing more and more and more of it in order for it to become addictive. Think of the alcoholic who used to get buzz on 1 beer. Then it would take him 2 beers, then 3 beers, then 4 beers, then 5, and there'd be no proverbial glass ceiling. Think of the cocaine addict who would do 1 bump of blow, would get high, then would have to do 2 to get high, 3, 4, there'd be no glass ceiling. With smokers, we generally find our level, and that level might be we smoke 1 pack of cigarettes a day. It might be we smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. But we tend to find our level, and then we continue to smoke that way for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Who here has been smoking roughly the same amount for a long period of time? Hands up for me. So you're all lying. 1 person in the audience. So, let me come down. Let me prove my point. You, sir, how are you a smoker? Great. How many cigarettes have you smoked, when they ask? Roughly a day. 1 pack. And roughly how long have you been smoking 1 pack a day? 5 years, thank you. You smoke? No, okay. You smoke? You smoke? Who smokes? Put their hand up. Good. Roughly, how many cigarettes do you smoke roughly? Okay, at the moment. Half a pack. And how long have you been smoking half a pack? Over 20 years, thank you. Who's the other, this lovely lady here who stopped by earlier on? Roughly, and I'm not going to get to that speaker because it's going to make a noise. I'm going to come up behind from me. Roughly, how many cigarettes do you smoke roughly a day?
Now 10.
Oh yeah, and I know you've deliberately cut down recently,
Yeah.
and that's been over the last few months or so.
No, just the last week.
Last week or so, okay. But roughly how long?
A pack.
A pack for how long? More than 10 years?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Very good. Point proven. Very, very good. So roughly the cigarette smoker will find their level, give or take a couple of cigarettes, and they will just continue to smoke that way for the rest of their life. If it was an addiction, you'd have to do one of 2 things, physiological addiction. You'd either have to smoke more and more. So if you've been smoking 20 years, you wouldn't be on 1 pack a day, you wouldn't be on 2 pack, you'd be on hundreds of cigarettes a day, like the cocaine addict, like the heroin addict, like the alcoholic. Or you'd have to narrow down the time in between cigarettes. So let's say you smoke a cigarette every hour, it would go to every 30 minutes, to every 15 minutes, to every 10 minutes, to every 1 minute. But typically, most people find their level and they level out of it. Another version of an addict who smokes has woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning, not because they needed to pee, and en route to the bathroom they said to themselves, I might want to have a cigarette as well. But you woke up because you were jonesing for a cigarette. You were asleep, and suddenly you're like, I've got to have a cigarette now. And you woke up for no other reason other than you needed to smoke a cigarette. Who's ever had that experience? Hands up. Very little people. The heroin addict, it doesn't matter to them if it's 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6, they'll wake up, they'll have to do heroin. The alcoholic, whose liver's become addicted to the sugar in alcohol, it doesn't matter. It's 3 a.m. in the morning, they'll wake up, they'll drink, then maybe they'll pee. Hardly in my experience of working with about 8,000 smokers over the last 21 years, I think I met 1 person in my life that woke up because they needed to smoke. The other 7,999, they woke up, they needed to pee, and they would like a cigarette en route. Who here has ever been in hospital for more than a day? As an adult? Yeah. And when you're in hospital, you're not allowed to smoke, right? Where does your addiction go for that 24 hours? You're told by someone in authority, a doctor or a surgeon, you're not allowed to smoke in here, and you might crave one, you might be a bit ratty, you might be a bit annoyed, but you can go 24 hours, right? You don't die. I can tell people till I'm blue in the face, stop smoking now. I can't say that to a heroin addict, because if they convulse and they die, I could go to prison. I can't say that to the alcoholic, stop drinking now, because if they die, I get a malpractice suit, go to prison. I can say to smokers, till I'm blue in the face, stop smoking now, and it'll be easy for you. And nothing ever happens because it's not a physiological addiction. You've been sold a crock of bullshit that it's a physiological addiction, because a lot of people don't realize that the same companies that own cigarettes are the same company that own e-cigarettes. They own the patches. they own the gun. So if they can't take your money from cigarettes with this hand, they'll devise another way to take the money from this. And think about it. If they give you a suggestion that stopping smoking is hard, that you can't do it, they've done hypnosis. I can't quit smoking, it's hard. It's an addiction, I can never get on it. They did hypnosis to keep you smoking a cigarette. I see people that come in my office, my record is 5 minutes for a husband and wife that stop smoking, they're smoking for 20 years, 5 minutes. Usually it takes an hour when someone's really ready. But that's the key, folks, you have to be ready. I don't know if you believe in God, Buddha, Muhammad, or if you're an atheist like me, but some people could take their very God, if they believe in such a thing, coming down and saying, stop smoking now, and if they're not ready, they'll continue to smoke. So it always comes down to that personal choice. If you're ready, it becomes a lot simpler to quit smoking. When you're not ready, and you're kind of dipping your foot into the water like so, almost nothing will work. It's very, very black and white. You can't be half pregnant, you can't be half a smoker. You either smoke or you don't smoke. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. So smoking's generally pretty easy, pretty simple when someone's ready, because it's a switch in their brain. We switch it off and it's done. A little bit more challenging if someone comes to see me with eating issues, or they need some weight they need to release, because they're going to need to eat for the rest of their life. For the smoker, they never have to smoke a cigarette again, and we can literally switch it off. But I did promise you something today, guys. I promised to give you 3 tangible tools that if you use them, they work. If you don't use them, it's like getting a beautiful Christmas gift that you keep in the corner and you never unwrap and you never use. It's worthless. If you use these tools and use them regularly, they will help you to potentially come off with cigarettes. And these are the same tools that I teach my clients before I put them into hypnosis. And some will use this and they won't even need hypnosis. But again, a tool is only as good as you using it. So, when was the last time you smoked? About an hour ago. All right. With my clients, before they come in to see me, I used to let them smoke up until a minute before they came in for their first hypnosis session. Then my first question would be to them, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being high, 0 being low, how much do you want, need, or crave a cigarette? To which they'd say, well, 0, Luke, because I just smoked. So I would say to them, well, if your smoking craving right now is a 0, and you're coming to me to hypnotize you to make sure it's a 0, if it's already a 0, at the end of our hour together, how are you going to know this worked? To which they'd say, good point. So I changed. Before anyone comes to see me for smoking, I ask them to make a commitment to me that 24 hours before our session, they won't smoke. Because I want them coming in. I want them jonesing. I want them craving. I want them to be a 7, an 8, a 9 out of 10. So when they come and see me, they're like, Luke, I flipping hate you because you made me stop smoking. But I've been a nightmare for my husband or wife the last 24 hours. I've been annoyed. I've been grumpy. I'm an 8, a 9, a 10. I'm like, so when you know that 8, 9, or 10 goes to 0 within the next hour, you know this shit worked, right? They're like, yeah. Then we proceed to do some of the stuff I'm going to teach you today, and they leave this as 0, and they know it's gone forever. So would it be okay if I teach you a couple of skills today? Not this way, but yes. Awesome. And if you're not a smoker, you can use these skills for anything else, whether it's to fall asleep, if you suffer from the symptoms of insomnia, if you suffer from the symptoms of anxiety, you can also use the same tools. So, on a scale of 0 to 10 right now, it's been roughly an hour. How much do you want a cigarette now, craving-wise? Not so much. What about you? Same. Is anyone here got a real craving for cigarettes right now? Like, we're talking a 7, an 8, a 9, a 10. For chocolate. You can use this skill for chocolate, by the way. All right, no one has it. So everyone smoked within the last hour. That's why I ask my clients, don't smoke for 24 hours. So you're coming in, you're craving it. But you can use this skill for cravings or anything. Has anyone done any form of tapping, emotional freedom technique, or thought field therapy? Lovely. I'm going to show you my version of it, and it's on steroids. It's all the nonsense stripped out of it. You can use this for any problem. So whether you're craving cigarettes, chocolate, anxiety, just take a mental inventory right now on a scale of 0 to 10 and ask yourself how strong that negative emotion or that craving is right now. In your own head, get a number between 0 and 10 and nod your head like this and put your hand up so I know you're done. Okay, cool. So all I want you to do now, copy me. I know this seems silly, it just works. Get your hand and tap the crown of your head like so. And as you do this, I want you to say this out loud with me, but put your own word in it, whatever you're working on. I want to let go of my craving, or whatever your word is. Say it out loud. I can let go of my craving, or whatever your word is, you're letting go. I will let go of my craving. I have let go of my craving. I'm okay. And keep tapping about another 10 times for me. Very, very good. And then what I want you to do there is I want you to tap your karate point, which is right here. So if you were doing karate and you were gonna chop a table in half, that point. And as you tap that point, you don't need to say anything in particular right now. Just tap that point, breathe any way that you want. You want to tap it about 50 times. And then once you've done it about 50 times, you're gonna tap the other hand. And as you do, you're gonna say that first sentence again, which I'll repeat, but you're gonna add a little bit to it. So you're gonna say, you're gonna say something different. You're gonna say, I feel better. I feel even better now. So as you tap that point, say after me, I feel even better now. Louder, I can feel even better now. I will feel even better now. I'm allowing myself to feel even better now. I am feeling even better than when I came in here today. I'm waking up. Relax your hands. Now just check in with whatever that craving or issue was that you were working with. I'm not suggesting that it's completely disappeared now, but what I may suggest it may be dialed down. Mr. Gentleman with the blue jacket, do you feel less of that craving for chocolate now? I know you can still think of it, but is it lessened now? What chocolate? Exactly, give it a round of applause. I paid him well. No, I didn't. So it's a real little quick thing that you can use. It's a version of thought field therapy, and it got watered down into emotional freedom technique. So whatever the problem is you're working on, get the file names. So we're working with craving. It could be the client with anxiety, it could be anxiety. Client with depression, it could be depression. Get the file name, we're working on craving. And then simply all you do is you tap your forehead about 50 times and you ask for what you want. I want to let go of my craving, or I want to let go of my anxiety, or I want to let go of my sadness. I can let go of it. I will let go of it. I have let go of it. And by the way, guys, if you miss some of those words about, it still works, it's all right. Then you go to your karate point. You don't need to say anything in particular. And then you go to the other hand and you just simply replace it with, I can feel even better. I will feel even better. I must feel even better. And I'm a very scientifically minded guy, so when it comes to earthy, crunchy stuff, I don't do so well with. I need the science behind it. So when I learned this, I thought it was a crock of, you know, that nasty S word is there, until I started to use it. And when I started to use it, it started to work. It was the weirdest thing. So I became a believer only when it started to work for me. I know some of you have taken notes today, that's beautiful, but I'm gonna send out, and I'm gonna do it now, I'm gonna send out a pen and a notepad. We're recording this today, so you're all gonna get a copy of this. If you'd like a copy of this talk today, just put your name and email, and I'll send you a copy of this talk today and some of my stop smoking programs for free. Just pass it around, there'll be a pen, put your name and email address if you'd like a copy of that. The second tool that I want to teach you today is another very, very powerful tool for dealing with cravings. Another very, very powerful tool for dealing with cravings. So who here is a great visualizer, can see things pretty clearly with their eyes closed? Even though it's not real, they can see things pretty clearly. Put your hands up. So about half the audience, great. So even if you don't see things really good, and I'm saying in Max, think of this or see this, you can change that word for the word imagine or think. So see this doesn't resonate when I'm talking with you in a moment, just change it with think this or imagine this or pretend this. It's all the same thing. We all make pictures inside our head. So what I want you to do in a moment is I'm going to tell you the technique, then I'm going to coach you through it step by step. All right? So in a moment, I'm going to get you to close your eyes. Not yet. Don't close your eyes yet. In a moment, I'll ask that you close your eyes though. And I'll get you to get in touch with that feeling. Whether that feeling be a craving, whether that feeling be a craving for cigarettes, for chocolate, if there's any left, for alcohol, or a feeling you don't want. I'll get you to get in touch with the feeling wherever it may be in your body. I'll then count from 1 to 3, and I'll ask you to just, in your head, say what color it is, what shape it is. I know it doesn't make any sense. Play along with me. And then what I'll do is I'll instruct you to pull it out of your tummy or wherever it is in your body. I'll get you to change the color, the shape, and whichever way it was moving. For us to feel something, the feeling has to either move clockwise or counterclockwise, or forward or back. So I'll ask you to change whichever way the energy was moving to the opposite. So you get the color, the shape, notice what way it's moving, then I'll get you to do the opposite before we put it back. I'm going to guide you through that now. So if you best visualize or think with your eyes closed, go ahead and do that right now. Get in touch with that feeling, that craving, that urge, that thing that you don't want to feel anymore. Get in touch with it. Just allow yourself to have the experience of feeling it right now. And as you give yourself the experience of feeling it right now, just notice very quickly, what color is it? Answer inside your head. What shape is it? Answer inside your head. Which way is it moving? Clockwise, counterclockwise, forward, back. Just notice really quickly. I know it doesn't make sense. Play along. Once you've asked all those questions, I'm going to count to 3 in a moment, and I'm going to have you physically pull it out, as if you're going to mind pulling it out of your body wherever it was. So get ready, you're going to pull that sucker out, and then we're going to change the coordinates really, really quickly. 1, 2, 3, pull it out wherever it is in your body. Change the color, change the shape, and change the energy, whichever way it was moving, move it the opposite way right now. And once you change the color and shape, put it back in your bodies as it's moving a different way. Put it back in the same area of your body. And once you put it back and the colors change, the energy's changed, the shape has changed, just notice how that feels differently now inside your body. Just notice how it feels differently. And open your eyes. You're in front, I'm going to ask you because you're the first person I see. How does that feel differently now? I don't even need to know what it was that you did it for, but...
I definitely felt it white light.
You changed it to white light and it felt differently. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just by changing the visualization and the feelings, it changes how you feel. How about you? What was your experience with that?
I changed mine to red.
And did it change how it felt?
Yeah, it didn't feel aching.
It didn't feel kind of weird. Anyone else have a similar? The lady over here, I'm going to come up to you and I'll repeat your questions because it might not get it all on my microphone. So, Madame, what was your experience of changing the colour or the shape? It was light, then it was dark, then it was light. Hallelujah, you've been healed. It's not even Sunday, I'm just kidding. And does it feel a little bit different? It feels lighter, doesn't it? It's weird, isn't it? It shouldn't work. It seems like kid stuff, but it works. That's how we have to go. So in my office, I do fun stuff like that. When people come to see me, whether they want to quit the habit of smoking, or drugging with heroin, alcohol, whether it's an emergency service worker that's suffering from the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, whether it's someone who's been in the hospital suffering from the symptoms of depression, who have had years and years of therapy and they've talked about their problem over and over and over again and they've embedded their problem. When people come into my office, we have fun. We do stuff like this. Because other than the phone conversation I have with people and what their file is, whether it's anxiety, depression, and addiction, that's all they need to know. And we throw lots of fun little techniques before we even get into hypnosis, so they start to feel things shift. We don't need to dig things up from the past, bring metaphorical bodies up. We don't need to do that. I believe change should be easy, should be simple, and it should be fun. Once people are having fun and smiling, to get people to change the neurology and the neurological pathways in their brain becomes a lot simpler, a lot easier. So, and I'm a big believer in the quickest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line. They did a study in New Scientist a good 30 years ago, and they compared different forms of therapy from counseling, psychotherapy, all the way to hypnosis. This was about 30 years ago, so things have got better in hypnosis since then. But New Scientist, once they did the study, they realized it would take up to 600 psychotherapy or counseling sessions. 600 to possibly get a change. Versus hypnosis, which was 6. Not 600, 6. 600 sessions talking about your problem, feeling worse and worse and worse, versus 6 in hypnosis. I get bored in 6, so I do it in 1 to 3. I've got no time for people keeping their problem long. People come and see me, and you can see I'm a different type of character. I'm more of the surgeon. So a counselor or a psychotherapist have their merit. God bless them. They have their merit, they do their work. Think of a psychotherapist or a counselor much like your family doctor. You might see him once a month. They know you well, you go in, you talk about your problems, your issues. And you leave, and maybe you feel a little bit better, but next week comes, and all your problems are still there. I don't work with that model. I work more of the model of the surgeon. People come to see me, I don't want to be their paid friends. As lovely as a lot of my clients are. I'm like the surgeon. They come in and they say, Luke, I've got this problem. And with surgical accuracy, we open up their mind and we cut out that problem. Not physically, I don't really have a scalpel. But we go into their mind, we cut out that limiting belief, that negative emotion, pull out that addiction, and then we patch them up. And they probably don't need to see me again. But in the way that you see a surgeon maybe 6 months later, just to make sure your stitches are healing up okay, but the work's done. Versus going to a AA or going to NA, Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, and talking about your problem over and over again. For some people, very small amount, if you look at the stats, very small amount. For some people, gives some solace to. For some people, gives a community to. I understand that, not taking anything away from that. But when you look at the stats of people that will leave there and no longer use their drug of choice anymore, and stay off of it, I think it's less than 2%. So that means 98% of the people that will go there, unfortunately they relapse and keep doing their drug of choice. In my studies of using hypnosis and the stuff that I use with people, we have about an 80% success rate. Nothing's 100% out there. We're about 80% because we start to change those neurological pathways in your brain. So what used to give you pleasure from doing your drug of choice, whatever it may be, nicotine, cocaine, alcohol, hell, for me it used to be sugar. We change your brain. So whatever the reason was that you did your drug, nicotine, we'll call it for a drug just for the sake of this purpose. We find the reason underneath, the reason you did it, and then we give you another way of experiencing that same positive feeling, because underneath every problem there's a positive intent. I find you, and that might be, I just want to feel connected to people. I want to have longer breaks at work for the smokers. I want to control my cravings. A lot of smokers, I used to get a lot of smokers that would give me a call, and I'd ask them, have you ever experienced hypnosis before? They're like, yeah. I'm like, for stop smoking? They're like, yeah. I'm like, how did it go? They're like, Luke, it went really, really well. I quit smoking. I'm like, so why are you calling me? Why don't you go back to the other hypnotist? Luke, it went so well, but then I gained 7 to 10 pounds in the first month. Because what they don't tell you is if there is anything remotely addictive in a cigarette physiologically, it's the sugar. Each cigarette has about a tablespoon of sugar, about 5 grams of sugar. So they unconsciously don't tell you this. So oftentimes people will find they're reaching for more carbs, more sugary substance, more sweets. They don't know why, because they're trying to fill the hole that the cigarettes were doing. So they're like, Luke, so I have the option of not smoking and being slim, or, not smoking and being fat, this is their words, not mine, or smoking and being slim. I'd rather be slim and continue to smoke. Can you make it so not only do I quit smoking, but I can stay slim at the same time? Yeah, we just give you a suggestion that you don't replace that smoking habit with another addiction, whether that be sugar, food, or something else. That you do something else, like maybe you'll drink more water. Who doesn't want to drink more water? Maybe you'll take a deep breath in. Maybe you'll go for a walk around your block. But whatever that positive benefit was that you may consciously be aware of, a lot of people not consciously aware, we'll find in hypnosis a way for you to get the same positive benefit without having to do the habit, which means it never rears its ugly head again because we've cut the head off at its core, if that makes sense. So it never grows back. What you'll see here is my lovely jar of cigarettes. Sometimes people come into my office and they don't read what it says on the front. And they just think, Luke, you're helping me quit smoking, but this is all your cigarettes. I'm like, no. Of course not. These are all the people that have come to my office in the last couple of days. I like to collect trophies from my clients. So when they come in, I ask that they bring all their cigarettes with them. I ask that they don't smoke for 24 hours before, because I want them are really, really craving and jonesing a cigarette. So when we're done, I give them a choice. Do you want to keep your cigarettes, or would you like to put them in my jar? And guess what? They always put it in the jar because they have no use for them anymore. So then I keep the jar and I go to schools and I get kids addicted to cigarettes. So when they get older, they come and see me. That's just a joke, guys. You guys got it. They're like, really? Does this guy do it? It's a joke, guys. I would never do that. I just set them crack instead. No. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Not really. I did promise you free tools. Thank you. I'm performing for you guys and the YouTube audience. I'm going to teach you one more skill right today because I promised that I'd teach you 3. So the first one was the tapping. You can get a video of this if you'd like a video. For the people who came in late today, there's a sign-in sheet. We'll give you a copy of this, you'll have it at home, and some other stop smoking tools that I'll share with you. Just sign your email address with the smoking form that's going around. So we've done the tapping, emotional freedom technique. We've changed the color, we've changed the shape. Now I'm going to teach you the easiest technique in the whole wide world to switch off the internal dialogue in your brain. Who has a chatterbox in their mind that doesn't shut up? Hands up for me. There you go. How would you like to switch it off temporarily or quiet it? Would that be okay? I'm going to teach you to do that right now. And it's going to take us about 30 seconds. You might practice meditation like me for 20 years and still not be able to dial that son of a bitch down. I'm going to show you how you can do it in about a minute. Cool? So it comes from the Hawaiian spirituality of Huna. Don't worry, it's not a religion. You don't have to need to practice it. It's a cool tool. And it's called Hakalau. So I'm going to explain it to you and I'm going to walk you through it. So what I want you to do now, actually, guys, is I'm going to actually walk you through it as you do it. I want you to find a spot in front of you and slightly above you. So see that light that I'm pointing to up there? Keep your head still, but allow your eyes to focus on that very light up there. Don't look at me, just keep looking at the light, but keep your head still. So you should have to slightly strain your eyes a tiny little bit, but keep your eyes focused on that light up there. And as you do that, you'll hear me. As you keep looking at that light, I want you to become aware of your peripheral vision. What I mean by that is even though you're looking at the light, you might start to become aware of what's happening to your right-hand side without looking. You might start to become aware of what's happening to your left hand, even though you're looking at that light and nowhere else. You might be aware of what your right foot feels like, or what your left foot feels like, or the personal bag that's to your left or to your right. In fact, you might bring your awareness all the way to behind you. So even though you're not looking behind you, you have a sense of awareness that something is behind you. Even though your eyes are looking at that light above you, slightly in front of you, you start to become aware of what's going to your left and right. And as you do that, relax your tongue to the bottom of your mouth. Relax your tongue to the bottom of your mouth and relax your jaw. Really relax your jaw. Almost like you've gone to the dentist and you've taken some Novocaine and your jaw becomes relaxed. Keep looking at that spot. Become aware of what's around you, but keep looking at that spot. Relaxing your jaw, relaxing your mouth. And as you do that now, you might notice that internal voice as you keep looking at that light. You can now bring your gaze down to me and you can meet me, you can see me. But as you look at me, stay in peripheral vision. So even though you're looking at me now, you're aware of what's to your right, you're aware of what's to your left, but you don't need to look at it. You get a general sense of movement that's going on. So even though you're looking here, this is called foveal vision, you're aware of what's immediately happening to each side of you. With that relaxed gaze, relaxing your tongue, relaxing your jaw. And from this position here, try and worry, try and get anxious and find that you can't. Try and get your addiction and find that you can't as you stay in peripheral vision. You relax your jaw. Notice what happens. For some of you, that voice will be switched off. For others of you, that voice might just be quieted down. It gets better over practice. When you're ready to come back into this a moment, close your eyes, open your eyes, shake out your body just a little bit. How did that feel? Did you notice at least a quieting of some of the nattering in your voice? Very good. You had tinnitus and it just, that's amazing.
Actually, I use that.
You used that. So it's a way, the gentleman said he had tinnitus and he used it and it just went silent, which is amazing. For some of you, it might have just dialed down a little bit. But it's a skill, much like going to the gym, working your muscles. You get stronger over time. But I call it quieting the world. So whenever you're in a stressful situation, there's too much going on like this, or you can't sleep at night, find a spot above you, look slightly up about 10 degrees, then bring your eyes, then become aware of what's happening to the right and to the left. Just get a general awareness, even though you're not looking. Bring your gaze back to where it was before. You'll look a bit spacey. Relax your jaw. Make sure your tongue's facing down, because when your tongue pushes up to the bridge of your mouth, it's easy to go into sympathetic nervous system or fight, flight, and freeze. You don't want that before you smoke, that you won't anymore, or before you do stress or anxiety. Relax your tongue, push it down, and it will help to silence that whole thing inside your mind. So there's a free tools for you today that when you use them in any area of your life, especially when it comes to before you smoke, continue to smoke if you so choose, but just tap before you smoke. And notice if your craving is the same or gone down completely or just a little bit. Perhaps just before you smoke, I'm not suggesting that you'll stop smoking. Perhaps you'll just be like, I really want to smoke now. Let me try some of this stuff that I learned from Luke. Let me give it a shot. What colour is it? It's a yellow. It's a triangle. It's moving that way. It's silly, I know. Let me pull it out. Let me change the colour. It's a circle. It's now red and it's going that way. Put it back in. Oh, I don't have that craving as much as I did just then. Or maybe you'll do the stop the world technique, which you just did. Like you'll just before you smoke a cigarette, find a spot in front of you, go into peripheral vision, relax your tongue, and just notice from that point if your craving dials down. For some of you it'll go to 0, for some of you it'll dial down a bit. But my goal today was to give you more choice. You can leave here today absolutely and smoke all that you want. That's your choice. Of course you can smoke when you leave here today. But I want to give you a couple of tools that you can say, yeah, I could absolutely smoke as I leave here today. But I could use some of those techniques and maybe get a bit more freedom, a bit more choice in my life. That's what I want to give you today. So I'm going to I'll do a little Q&A in a moment. If you've got any questions, I'll come and take questions from you. You can stay around. Other than that, we are done and we're going to be sending this. I'm going to answer that question in a moment. And we'll be sending everyone who signed up today this video and a clearer version of me explaining those techniques as well. So if you like those, sign your name on that sign-in sheet. But I'm going to do the Q&A now about anything hypnosis related. I'll do my best to answer it, and I'll repeat the audience's questions. To the lady in the front.
We're going to get a comment back. Will it be on your YouTube channel?
It will be after we've edited it, but if you put your name on that list, you'll get it before anyone else. Cool. Awesome. If anyone got any questions about anything hypnosis, just put your hand up and I'll answer your question. No questions? Well guys, to the lady, yes, with her hand up and a lovely scarf. What's your question? Headaches, yes. Do you have a headache right now? Okay, yeah, hypnosis is amazing. If you had, I'll show you how to get rid of it. But it only works if you got one. But yeah, hypnosis is really great. It depends what kind of headache it is. There's different types of headaches. There's stress headaches, which are really easy to get rid of. Sometimes when people have a headache in the stem of their brain, it's a sign that something else is going on, which I always advise them getting checked out by a doctor. But for your normal headaches or a full-blown migraine, hypnosis can be amazing for it. Absolutely, yeah. Any more questions? Put your hand up so I know. Other than that, I have been Luke Michael Howard, the Hypnopunk, owner of LUKEnosisHypnosis, Toronto's #1 hypnotist as voted by the Reader's Digest. If you'd like to experience some fun hypnosis, not change work, not therapy, but some fun uses for hypnosis, then my booth is booth 44, and it's right near the front door. We're going to be there all day today and tomorrow. So if you'd like a feeling on the fun aspects of hypnosis and see how powerful your mind is, drop by and we're giving free demonstrations for you to see the power of your mind. Again, it's not therapy, it's just a way for you to see how powerful hypnosis is. But other than that, I'm going to be here for a few moments and I'll be at booth 44 if you've got any questions. It was lovely being here today. Thank you so very much.